Namaste guys, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be learning about Internet of Things. Here's a list of things that you'll be learning in this video today. So, ஆரம்பிக்கலாமா? So the first thing that you'll be learning today is actually the history of Internet of Things. IoT existed before, but it was known with terms like embedded computing or pervasive computing. Now, let me tell a short story which tells us about the very first IoT device, a Coke machine.
Flashback.
One day in the early 1980s, David Nicholas, a graduate student at Carnegie Mellon University, he was in his office along with few students craving for a soda. But his office was far from the building's Coke machine, and Nicholas knew there was a good chance the soda machines would be empty or the machine would have warm sodas. Finding no sodas or warm soda when needed is actually quite frustrating. Soon, this necessity for knowing whether there is a cold soda in the Coke machine leads to the invention of the very first internet connected device, which is the Coke machine. So the question here is, how was it done? The Coke machine was filled with several micro switches and these switches were connected to the internet. Because it is connected to the internet, its content and the temperature could be found by anyone who could reach the IP address. And this was the story behind the very first IoT device. Later on in 1999, a person known as Kevin Ashton named it Internet of Things. He was working in Procter and Gamble. Okay. Now let's move on. Now we'll be knowing what is Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is a system of interrelated computing devices that has the ability to transfer data over a network without requiring human to human or human to computer reaction. If you don't get it, I'll tell you in a more simpler way. In simpler terms, the Internet of Things is simply a network of internet connected objects able to connect and exchange data. In a simple way to put it, you have things that sense and collect data and then send this data to the internet. Example, we have a refrigerator which senses that the carrots are not there. Now it sends this information to the user via a message or an email.
What the
So that's how I can simply explain what IoT is actually. Moving on, we'll be learning what is the purpose of the Internet of Things. Okay. The first purpose is that the purpose of IoT is to actually create an ecosystem that connects everything to enable people communicate with each other and access online data and processes. The second purpose of the IoT is to generate real-time data that we can analyze and use to create desired business outcomes. These are the two purposes of IoT. Now we'll move on to how IoT works. Okay. This process can be divided into 4 parts known as the sensors and actuators, the connectivity and data processing, and user interface. Okay. The first stage, which is known as sensors and actuators, we'll be learning about this. The sensors or devices help in collecting very minute data from the surroundings or the environment. All these data have various degrees of complexities ranging from a simple temperature monitoring or a complex video. Sensors present in the device collect data. Example, we have the temperature. These devices can also collect temperature, or your mobile phone, which is a group of all the sensors, like it has gyroscope sensor, everything. So those sensors can even collect the location, etc. Next is the connectivity. The collected data is sent to the cloud infrastructure, but it requires a medium for transport. The sensors can be connected to the cloud through various mediums of communications and transports such as cellular networks, satellite networks, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, etc. They send, so in short, they send this data to the cloud. Once the once the data is gets to the cloud, the software performs processing on the acquired data. This can range from something very simple such as checking the temperature, reading on devices such as AC or heaters is within an acceptable range. Once the data reaches the cloud, the data is processed, that is verify whether the data is uploaded is correct or not. Next, the information is made available to the end user in some way. This can achieve by triggering alarms on their phones or notifying them through text or emails. This process data is made useful to the end user. Example, in a factory, you can predict or tell the malfunctioning of the machinery with the help of IoT. Now, we'll see the tech challenges faced by IoT. We'll only see about the two major challenges faced by IoT. The first issue is security. So many interconnected devices out there in the market and plenty more to come soon. If the IoT devices are poorly secured, cyber attackers will use them as entry points to cause harm to other devices in the network. This will lead to the loss of personal data out to the public, and the entire trust factor between the internet connected devices and the people using them will deteriorate. The second issue is privacy. The possibility of tracking and surveillance of people by the government and private agencies increases as the devices are constantly connected to the internet. These devices collect user data without their permission, analyze them for purposes only known to the parent company. The social embrace of these IoT devices leads to people to trust these devices with the collection of their data and without understanding the future implications. Now, we know the major challenges faced by the IoT. Okay, so let us take a quick recap of whatever we learned in this video. The first thing that we learned is the history of IoT, which is the first device which was connected to the internet was a Coke machine. Now, second, what we learned is what is IoT? IoT is a network of internet connected objects which can collect and exchange data. Then we learned about the purpose of IoT, which is IoT creates an ecosystem of connected devices and analyzes real-time data which can be profitably used. And fourth, we learned how IoT works. So, IoT collects the data, sends the data to the cloud with the help of internet, and then this data is verified. After verification, the data is made useful to the user. Then we learned the technological challenges faced by IoT, which is we saw an increase in IoT devices, which made the cyber attackers track and use the data to harm other devices which are connected in that network. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. I tried my best to explain it as a human. I hope there's a lot of data in here. If you want to watch more videos like this, consider subscribing. Your support can help me make videos, good videos. And thanks for watching, and share it to your Techie friends. Bye bye.